I'm hearing audio from somewhere else. Hopefully that's not coming through. I think I got something doubled up there. But I would say good evening today, but I think we kind of all know why we're here, so there's really not a good reason to have but intro. I would say, hey, Gary, are you hearing double audio? I think we kind of all
I am hearing double audio. Let me make sure that I don't have anything
up there. But intro. I would say, hey, Gary, are you hearing double? Oh, that was me. That was absolutely me. I had a hidden tab open with the stream playing, which is why it was on a delay. That is absolutely my bad. Sorry about that. We have fixed that issue, but we'll go ahead and get right into it. Gary is joining me with this stream. He has a baby boy next to him, which is
Gary's are joining you on the stream.
Gary's, yes, Gary 1 and Gary 2. We'll let you figure out which one is which. But unfortunately, we're going to be talking about the Trump assassination attempt. Now, this happened a few hours ago. So we don't have all the details. So we're going to be going over a bunch of stuff that is almost entirely conjecture at this point. We don't actually know what's going on.
Everything is all speculative. I've heard everything. I've heard everything up to and including that Trump didn't actually get shot.
Right.
The teleprompter got shot.
Conspiracy theories are going to be everywhere. Literally anything you could possibly think of, it's going to be theorized. Thank you to everyone who is here in the chat currently. Compulsive Gun Buyer. I actually just watched your video on your Flux Raider setup, even though I don't have a 320 or a Flux Raider. Yeah, so an interesting thing about assassinations in American history is we have actually a long history of this sort of thing. The last attempt was 43 years ago with Reagan. Then there was a successful one with, of course, JFK. And then before that was Roosevelt. And then I think there was another one in between Roosevelt and, of course, Lincoln. So this is actually something that averages out to about every 40 years. You have assassination attempts on a president. What's funny is this is kind of analogous to Roosevelt and the fact that Roosevelt got shot and continued his speech that he was given. In this case, we'll go ahead and play this. I don't think we need the audio for this. If you guys haven't already seen this, I can turn on the audio, but I don't have volume control. Trump gets shot, goes down to the ground. Secret Service dogpiles him. And at this point is where apparently they return fire. Gary, do you think we should turn on the audio for this for people that...
I mean, you can. It sounds suppressed, but I think that's...
Let me know if this is too loud, guys.
No. Wait.
Absolutely wild crowd, but that's the response to like a shooting.
Oh, then if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
So you can hear that there is a hail of gunfire. Trump gets hit on shot 3.
I think that was
2 or 3.
I think that was shot 2.
He looks over at where he hears the noise coming from, which sounds fairly quiet. It's the third attempt. Yeah, the footage has crap audio. Now, the reason that it could be crap is, one, it's from a long ways away. The type of mics they could be using might not be good for very loud volumes. Also, they could be very directional, so the sound is obviously coming from way away. Or more than likely, there's a very heavy audio filter and compression on the mics. So basically anything above a certain volume is going to get pushed back down so it doesn't peak out the mic. And the further away that volume is and the more it's compressed, the worse it sounds. Now, there have been some theorizing that the very last shot in that string is actually return fire, because one of those shots does sound different. However, there are a variety of reasons that last shot could sound.
See something that said, take a look at what happened.
And so if you've heard that, there's a pop after like that second string of fire, which sounds a little bit louder and perhaps like it's coming from a different direction, which could have been the return fire.
So after those, I think there were 4 shots from the shooter just based on my ear. It sounds like there are 4 shots from the shooter, and then the rest of that is an intense amount of return fire from Secret Service.
So we have, let me go ahead and I will stop this. And I mean, we'll get into that a little bit later, but we'll go ahead and talk about the shooter. So this is completely unconfirmed. Completely unconfirmed. This is just a guy claiming that this gentleman here is the guy that put the shooter down, that returned fire almost immediately within seconds from about 150 meters away and put the shooter down. However, that is unverified. That is completely unverified at this point in time. That,
I mean, do you want to trust Snopes? I don't want to trust Snopes.
Well, you don't have to trust Snopes, or do you trust some random person on the internet, right? As of right now, that is unconfirmed. Totally could be this guy. And this guy's absolutely doing his job. No shade to him whatsoever. He's absolutely doing what he should be doing.
To be fair, we do have an analogous situation in Tacoma. Do you remember that, where Tacoma PD dropped that guy with a headshot from like 325?
It was a long dot. I think it was like 193. I don't think it was 300, but it was a long ways away.
I might be misremembering the numbers. But
that was a crazy story, because that was a person like with a knife, like threatening another person. So there was a lot of people in close proximity, and this guy who had radio contact somewhere else, so he already knew the situation, even though he couldn't see it. So he did not have PID, but he knew which person was the bad one, which one was the good one, because of course he was in radio contact. He braced up against his patrol vehicle and took the shot from, I think 200 yards, red dot only, one shot, which was just the best possible outcome for a shoot. You don't want to shoot, but for a shoot, that's the best possible outcome. Singular shot, end of story. Now, we also, so somebody brought up counter snipers. So this is something that we'll go ahead and pull up this video first. Now, I do want to say that I'm taking a lot of this from Mr. Guns and Gear. He is so freaking fast about all of this. By the time I heard this had happened, he had like a list of like everything going on already on his Instagram. So if you're not following his Instagram, he probably has it on his X as well. You absolutely should be. He is like insanely fast at this sort of thing. So here are the counter snipers that just doing surveillance Overwatch above Trump as he's giving his speech.
If you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
So you can see that the guy on the top right there, he immediately goes into action.
I really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Yeah. I'm gonna need to add that to my video now.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a little bit old. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Do you see how fast that guy snaps? Like before the shot even happens, you can see him like react, and then it looks like he almost takes a shot there, but I'm not sure if that's what actually happens. So we'll let this play out.
And that's a little bit old. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
You see that? His head.
Where's the spotter?
He looks.
Why is the spotter laying on the ground?
I think he has a rifle. I think this guy has a rifle as well. So I think he's spotting him with his rifle, if I would have to guess. Because you look how fast that guy's head goes back down to target, and it looks like he shoots. However, obviously the shooter continues to shoot. So if he did shoot, I'm not saying he did, but if he did shoot, he missed.
And that's a little bit old, that chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
He instantly drops back down, and then he gets his head back off the gun. So I'm not sure if he's like trying not to get shot, like if he just feels something whizzing off him and kind of backs off or whatnot. But he definitely saw something, immediately snapped down to the gun, maybe pulled the trigger. Not sure.
How did they not see somebody 130 yards away on a roof thrown down?
That's closer. That is also very possible. Yeah, he flinched. It's also very possible. They both have guns. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They both have rifles. That's what it looks like. Hello from Milwaukee. Probably trying to spot the shooter. Very possible. Yeah, 152 yards, 150 meters. So Desert Tactical says, what about the gentleman who alerted police and SS Secret Service that there was a guy crawling on the roof of the building 4 minutes? Yes, I do have that video pulled up, also courtesy of Mr. Guns and Gear. But we will go ahead and kind of show you the layout. So this is at Butler, Pennsylvania. Yeah, right. Most of the time, these guys that on Overwatch, they don't do anything. They're supposed to. It's a very, very important job, but most of the time, you don't do anything. So the shooter is marked in the X position, allegedly, apparently, probably a best approximation. Trump stage facing out long ways, of course, and then he has the row of people behind him. So it's not quite a perfect side angle. It's just a slight bit off. So when Trump turns his head to look at the guy, the bullet literally comes by and hits his right ear, right?
Left ear.
Left ear, whichever ear that got hit. Yeah. So, he was basically looking directly at the shooter.
Right.
All right. So, but we can actually get a little bit
think
closer.
the shooter was using iron sights? I'd be shocked if he used an optic
We
and missed and counter snipers to miss the glinter reaction.
So we do have some pictures, and it doesn't appear that he was using a bipod. So he was probably, if he was using a rifle, he was probably supporting it with just his arm, which if we'll show, I don't know if we'll show a picture of it later, but doesn't look like a very well-built person, let's say. And so if he's supporting it with irons, that wouldn't be the easiest shot in the world in general. But like for most competent shooters, 150 yards from the prone, incredibly easy. Incredibly easy.
You're talking about making a 6 MOA shot. So,
yeah, roughly. Now it's also, we don't know what type of rifle. It vaguely looks AR-15ish from what I've heard. So we're talking about, in general, a 2 to 4 minute gun. Now, because it's probably with cheap ball ammo would be my guess. But so the shooter is here. We can go ahead and just measure distance to approximate where Trump is. This is saying 133 meters. But I mean, you can, obviously, if the stage was here and the shooter was there, it's going to be a little bit anywhere between 125, 155, 160 meters, something like that. Not the longest shot in the world, but not short either.
More than 100, less than 2. Yeah, that should have been.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, it was luck.
Yeah, luck or just complete incompetence on the shooter side, which it very well could be. DP Chief 216 says, did we find out who the killed bystander was? We're not really going to go into that because that is the worst part of this tragedy. Nobody cares that the shooter was killed. Trump is fine. He just got shot in the ear, which is horrible. Obviously, nobody ever wants to get shot. But the real tragedy is the gentleman in the back who was unfortunately killed, which is... yeah, Eternal Death says the Secret Service has said AR-15. Yeah, we will talk about that a little bit later. Prison Mike says it's confirmed an AR-15. Reports say an AR was recovered. GP says, what y'all gonna do if Trump wants to ban ARs? Well, that's an interesting question. We can talk about that a little bit later, but Trump isn't or hasn't been the best on guns. So we know that the media and the left-wing types are already going to use this to try to push the anti-gun narrative. That's just what they're going to do. Trump's response to this, which we do have his statement pulled up, but Trump's response to this will be very interesting.
And don't forget, the Republican National Convention recently dropped all of their strong language about protecting the Second Amendment as of this week. So doesn't sound great.
Yeah, so placeholder just dropped in. Thanks for joining. The Secret Service allowed that rooftop to be occupied. That's another quite strange thing because this, I'll show you here. We'll go to the street side view. Oops, let's go. competent Google user here. So this guy was on this rooftop right here, which is slanted down towards the field. He should be the most visible person in the area, right? Because I believe he was on this rooftop here. But we will verify that in just a minute. So you can kind of see, we'll go ahead and look at the other angle that's close. This is closer to where President Trump actually got shot at. So these are the barns that he was in front of. If we move down here, this area up here is essentially where he was actually shot from. You can kind of see the corner of that building. I believe that's the building. If we back up here, right there. Yeah. So that is this corner of this building. You can kind of see from over here. But somewhere apparently on this building, this lower section down here. Now it's possible if he was behind the apex on the other side, while he was down here setting up for his shot, he might have actually been invisible. Now, the better question is wouldn't it have simply been better to occupy both buildings? So if I'm looking at this, just a retard, obviously you have counter snipers here, and probably here, right? These are the high buildings in the area that have access to your VIP. These are the ones that you block off.
Yeah. What about surveillance drones?
Surveillance drones as well. Again,
Why
you
not?
can have a couple drones, one here, probably one over here as well. And then, of course, probably 3 teams. I mean, this in theory, obviously after this, the security at his rallies is going to be absolutely insane. Yeah, Green Mirror says, give me all the roofs, 300 yards in a circle. Yeah, why not? Anything that has direct access to your VIP, direct sight lines, should either be covered by another place or occupied. We've all seen this movie, yeah. Water tower, yeah, it's possible. Again, there's some high points here that are really obvious. This one's so close. It's so close with it's 150 yards away from where your VIP is standing. Like back here, this is probably 600 yards. No, that's only 300. That's less than 300 yards, 250. So, I mean, in theory, there are some pretty inconspicuous places you could take a rooftop shot from.
I'd pull it up on Onyx, and I can put a 300 meter circle around it. But if I do that, it's going to break the stream. So I will avoid that for now.
I mean, 300 meters or 300 yards is all the way out to the road. So the road is 300 yards. But I'm not sure where they were having people fill in from, because this is a farm place. This is where they do like farm demonstrations and whatnot. Those buildings, again, these buildings are all within that 300 yard radius, and then these top buildings here. So there's really no reason to not have those closed off with at least a little bit better surveillance. So that was kind of a failure on their part, because the shooter got to very close, 150 yards. Again, somebody said earlier, it's very close. Incredibly lucky that he did not get him. Secret Service did the 3 Ps today. Piss, poor performance. Now, we have a couple different angles. Again, this is from Mr. Guns and Gear. So I'm not sure which side of the roof is on, if this is on the roof or slanted towards Trump or away from Trump. So I'm not sure what side of the apex he's on. This is one angle, and I should have another somewhere, but I might have lost. Oh, here's a cool one. So we have this one pulled up. I forget who took this photo. This was one of the people there at the actual rally.
What do you guys think? I don't think that's real. I think that's an artifact.
Let's explain the image first. So apparently, this is a photo capturing a projectile mid-air. Now, to capture a projectile mid-air, you're either having an incredibly high shutter speed or the bullet's moving relatively slow.
Well, to capture a streak like that, you've got to have a super slow shutter speed. Like we're talking like 120.
It has to be well, because you got to remember the bullet is only in this space of time for what 1/1000th of a second that it's actually in this space of time, especially if it's a rifle bullet.
Also dead.
Yeah, I don't think that's real.
It's very possible that that is a simple ad, like that. It would be an insanely easy Photoshop to make. Now, it's also possible we see Trump is already wincing, so it's possible that this is because the shooter was shooting quite kind of wildly, and apparently, there was a telecommunicator that was hit, or a teleprompter that was hit. Do I remember that properly?
Well, that's what I was hearing. I don't know how accurate that is. There's a lot, as I said, there's a lot of misinformation going on right now. Nothing is real at this point.
Right. I don't think it was a 22. A 22 would not be loud from that distance. From 150 yards away, a rifle length 22 would be like 100 decibels. Would be like knocking on a door from that distance from 150 yards away. So I don't think that is a 22. Could be wrong, but don't think so. Now, if this is a 5.56 out of, let's just say this retard had a 16-inch AR, which is the most likely, right? If it's an AR, most likely it's a 16-inch AR, which even if he's using really crappy ball ammo is probably moving 2750 at a distance of 150 yards. That's probably down to like 2400 feet per second, which is unfortunately within its fragmentation velocity. But no, it's moving quite fast. To be slower than that, you'd have to be 200-300 yards away. It was, but that doesn't mean that it's more real because, again, Photoshop, this would literally be just a drag and drop asset. Blend the edges, drag a trace in there. Like, I could do this. I could do this right now in like 2 minutes.
You could do this on your phone.
That too. Yeah, it's... If you know what you're doing, this is not complicated. Now, this came from a real photographer there. I believe he's the one who posted it. So, but who knows? It could also be debris. Or some people have also theorized that it could be like a variation in the actual like camera lens or some other sort of issue. Kodiak says, be careful what they feed you, brothers. Yes, everything at this point should be treated as highly skeptical.
Don't believe anything that you're seeing right now.
Yeah.
So,
Gary, how old is your baby?
5 days.
Yeah, not even a week yet.
He was born on the 8th.
Yeah, 601 says the screen is shattered in front of Trump. So it's possible that that's just a piece of debris flying. Could be possible.
You want to pull up the picture that I sent you of the alleged shooter?
Do we want to get that one? Let me see. I had that towards the... So here is the alleged shooter. I believe it was Samuel H. Idy or something like that. This is apparently the person. No, I'm just kidding. That's not who the shooter was, guys.
You can't keep getting away with this.
He did it again. All right. So this is from 110 SAS Actual. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. If you guys don't watch him, you should. He's funny as crap. This
is apparently a beautiful side picture shot of the shooter.
So from this, I think we can infer a couple of things. Number one, he needs somebody to take care of his hair. No, he doesn't need it anymore, but he needed somebody to help take care of his hair. That is greasy. Number two, he's at least somewhat immersed in gun culture. So
right, with the Demolition Ranch shirt. So we will talk about that.
That might mean that it was 300 blackout. And that could possibly do it too.
Like 300 blackout supers, yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Because that would be moving pretty slow too, especially if you're using like a 150 or something. No, not
2100 feet per second. That would make sense. It's still pretty
sure it was super, because we kind of hear a supersonic crack. And the return fire also has a supersonic crack, so I'm pretty sure it was supers. Because like subsonic is great for low, not low profile. What's the word? Like low exposure, I guess you could say. Like if you're trying to limit your detection range. However, if I want to take something out, I'm going to use a supersonic round, like a 110 or a 125 Barnes TSX, if I actually wanted to take something out.
150 would do the job fantastically in that range too.
It's a slow, heavy projectile, but that's what I'm saying. At that distance, it would actually probably only be moving something like 17 or 1800 FPS, because some of those 150s only are coming out at like 2050.
Mm-hmm.
Weekend Gunner, hey Lance, place your bet on it being a DD M4 V7. That's right. He bought it with his mom's credit card the day before, and now we need to ban it.
With firm.
He somehow got exactly the, what is it, $2,000 needed for one of those. So that's why he missed, actually, is he was trying to do the old school thing where you balance off the mag while you're holding on to that huge vertical foregrip so far out. And so he was like trying to do this. Just couldn't hit his shot. Believable. Baker B says, direct sunlight makes sense. The glimmer looks right, and it's not an air cavity, but the bullet itself blurred that fast in the sunlight. Again, it could be real, but it also could not be real. We have no idea.
I've seen a couple of pictures from like long range shoots with the bullet actually in the air, and it doesn't stretch out that far. Like
this is a lot closer. This is closer. I've seen bullets look
more like
too freaky.
Okay, the ones that I've seen are more like 2 times the length of the bullet.
Just a picture.
So. Okay.
Nicholas says, could be the guy used a 300 or a suppressed 300 black or something, and we're just hearing the return shots. That is in theory possible, but the shooting kind of lines up with how the crowd reacts and how Trump reacts to getting shot. Like you hear pop, pop, grab the ear, go down, right? Also, if they were return firing, why did the guy flinch on the rifle that we showed earlier? Yeah, we talked about that earlier. It would be incredibly fast. Major Malfunction says aliens. That is actually the most likely theory at the moment. Demo Ranch shirt. Damn it, Jeremy says, allegedly Trump was hit in his ballistic vest as well as his ear. I have not heard that reported anywhere. If you have a link to that, send it to me, because if it did not penetrate his vest, then it might have actually been subsonic. Because even a 5.56, if it's just a 3A vest, if it's a 3A vest at that distance, a 5.56 would still punch through it. I have no idea if that's confirmed or not. Yeah, dude, he looks a little funky. Like he's got some other stuff going on. So we're 30 minutes in to catch some people up on exactly what's going on. Rally. Yep.
Hey, John, you still there? Hey, John, I think your audio dropped out.
Oh, can you not hear that? Sorry. Oh, shoot. I'm not sharing that page. I'm so dumb. I'm sorry, guys. I was sitting there being quiet. I wasn't even sharing the page. So this is what happened earlier today at the rally.
Wait.
We'll go back to the beginning in just a second.
And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
So you can kind of hear the 2 strings of fire there. It's possible that one was the incoming fire, and then the second one was the returning fire. It's also possible that the shooter did the first 2 strings of fire, and then it's just the last couple shots that are the return fire, where it sounds just a little bit different. Trump gets shot in the ear. after now, this is not in this video, but in the long form, if you watch the entire thing, it was broadcast live. You can hear over the hot mics that all guys are wearing. They say "shoot her down, shoot her down." At that point, once it's confirmed that they're clear and the shooter is down, that is when Trump gets up, does his fist in the air thing, and then gets walked off. So it is not till after the shooter has been confirmed down, which was very fast. Very, very fast. If you watch the entire live broadcast, there's not much time in between shot, get down, covered.
3 seconds. It was 3 seconds from the first shot to Trump getting down. And then like another 2 seconds after that before we hear shooter down.
Yeah. So it was very fast. And then Trump, it's not in this, but Trump is actually like, let me get my shoes. Because apparently during the dog pile, like one of his shoes came off or something like that. So he wants to get his shoe on before he gets up and walks off, which is a very old man Trump thing to do, which is funny. So that happened earlier. And that did produce some of the most iconic propaganda photos of all time.
Well, at least of this century.
Yeah, for sure. Whether you love Trump, hate Trump, have problems with Trump, I don't particularly care which way you lean on it. I don't
like the guy, but that's a fantastic picture.
It's I saw a meme of this earlier. It's like the guy taking this picture. He looks down at it and he's like, "Damn, I just took the most like iconic photo of all time." Like, because. Yeah, regardless of what you think of the man, this is like a absolutely insane photo. This is moments after being shot, still on stage. Again, he's going to be compared to people like Teddy Roosevelt,
Nixon.
who also got shot. Nixon didn't get
Nixon
shot.
got shot and kept going on.
Did he? Okay, so Nixon did it as well. So yeah, there's a couple presidents throughout history.
Reagan, not Nixon. Sorry, I'm
yeah.
Flambéed.
I was like, I haven't heard of that, but I'll take your word for it. Again, yeah, just absolutely killer propaganda shots. Like if I was making a movie, that would be the freaking title card right there, right? That would be the poster that you would see in theaters, like coming soon.
So can Tom Clancy stop writing 2024 now? So
No. Well, I was actually going to say this, though. Regardless of your thoughts on Trump, like I think the election is over. Just it's done.
I don't,
like,
unfortunately. He's still too polarizing.
He's a polarizing man, but Biden's retarded. So it's polarization versus retardation. Take your pick. So Josh, for $2, still can't believe that Trump crip walked out. That's right. I might pull that meme, but there's a meme of him photoshopped onto 50 Cent's body from Get Rich or Die Trying, I think is the album. And it's Many Men with Wish Death Upon Me. If you guys are familiar with classic rap albums. Oh, there it is. Yeah, Jonathan Velez, the 50 Cent with his face meme is funny. Yes, I will actually, fine. I will pull that up. I should be able to do that. I thank you guys for the donations. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Well, here is actually Trump's official statement. His official statement on the matter from the man himself. I'm not allowed to read that out on camera, but that is his official statement on the matter. Isaiah Elander says, "Don't insult retards." Well, see, I actually have the retard pass, so I can actually say that. Let me see if I can pull that. That meme is kind of funny. Back, there we go. Sweet. All right. Dede Cobra. There it is. Okay. Should be able to pull this up if I'm not retarded. Boom. There it is. Yeah. Get Rich or Die Trying. 50 Cent with Trump. That's the one. Fat Mike, this is a really dumb question. I really don't want to bring this up, but the Young Turks are retarded. Chunk Uger has a thing for horses, apparently. But Fat Mike says you should bring up the Young Turks' speculation on the firearm used by the shooter, and that is because those retards said he probably used a BB gun. But they're kind of retarded, so we don't really need to talk about that.
I will find the clips and put them all together for Wednesday. Along
So
with
not says assuming it's not fortified, and referring to the election. Of course, yes, we do have a lot of fortification in our elections. Now, I believe I got sidetracked because I was actually going to show something else. Now, Tucker Carlson and by proxy Mike from Magic Prepper called this a long time ago. This is one of his 5 SHTF events to expect before the 2024 election. And one of the ones, I think number 2 on his list, or maybe it was even the first one on his list, was an attempted assassination. This video from August of last year. Absolutely called it. Now, that might not be the most difficult thing in the world to call, because Trump has had people rush the stage twice now, I want to say, one in 2016 and one in 2020. He's had people rush the stage and get dogpiled by Secret Service.
I don't remember.
I appreciate you giving me the retard pass. Thank you very much. Rifles first. Heard he had a used WWSD. What would Stoner do? AR. Yeah, supplied by Carl Casada himself, I am told. Yes. Rumor has it. Allegedly, perhaps.
Z33, you know, that's a good question. That's a good question. It's the timing is awfully convenient. I don't think that they're going to do that because they're going to alienate a significant portion of their voter base, and that would be how the libertarians, big L libertarians, actually win an election for a change.
Right. So just to go back over this, where the shooter was actually shooting from was a building nearby, only 150 yards away, that was somehow not closed off and did not have visibility. So the shooter was apparently able to climb undetected by Secret Service, but detected by a guy in the crowd who reported it to them because he was climbing around with a rifle exposed. Apparently, we aren't sure about this at this point. And then we can show this is one of the rooftops with actual people on it.
And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
And so we can see one of the counter sniper guys dig down onto his rifle really quick and then come off of it and kind of like move back a little bit as if he flinched. I'm not sure if he even shot there, but he did spot. Sure.
And you know,
I want to see the entire uncut video of that right there.
I don't have that, but you can see he spots something. He's looking, perusing, doing his job. He spots something, immediately goes down, and then pulls right back. So I'm not sure if as soon as he saw he was getting shot at, he moved back, even if he wasn't necessarily the target. You can hear bullets whizzing by you from several meters away, so it's possible that he got a little jumpy, which when you're getting shot at, that is not entirely unreasonable to have that sort of reaction. However, it is your job in this case.
That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Yeah, so that instant he sees something popped up, goes down to his scope, immediately comes off. Like you can see him kind of lean away, and he drags his tripod with him, which again, he's the guy that's supposed to be laying down fire in that circumstance and returning fire. Kind of an unfortunate look for that gentleman. Now here's, again, just going over it for people that are just showing up. This is a better look of the field. So on the right-hand side, we have Trump podium, and then he has a line of people behind him as well, and then he's talking to the crowd in front of him. And then on the left-hand side here, somehow the shooter apparently got into here from somewhere, climbed up on top. Now this was reported, apparently. Climbed up here and then opened fire, which is what we see. The counter snipers in this case are sitting right here on this big white barn. They are sitting right there. Let me blow this up a little bit, actually, so you guys see that a little better. That's a little better. So the counter snipers are here looking directly at the guy. Now from them, they might only be like 120 yards away. So this should not be a difficult shot for a trained sniper with a tripod, with a assumedly very nice rifle, with a spotter, with a rifle right next to him as well. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't return fire, but in that little short clipped section that we saw, it does not appear that they returned fire. Again, so we can see the distance here is only about 150 yards, maybe slightly under. From the tripoded counter snipers, it's 120 meters. And again, the shooter apparently was able to get in here. Oops, let's get rid of that. Sorry, I did the exact same thing again. So the shooter was up here on this building. Obviously, there's a taller building behind it, but he got onto the lower building and then shot over here. Counter snipers on top of this red barn, but we actually even have a better angle. So apparently, yes, this is like a processing plant of some sort. So he's not on this building. He's not on the big one. So somehow he gets in here. I don't know if he parks here or whatnot, climbs his way up onto this building here. One of these buildings. Actually, no, I might be looking at this wrong. It might actually be this. Yeah, no. Okay, so there's where the counter snipers are. So he apparently comes up onto the building.
Not
and
to cut you
Trump
off, John, but Andrew Vachon came in for $9.99, and I think we're all sick of historic world moments at the moment.
Right. It's like historical moments are cool. Too bad I'm living through them all. Late 20s.
Every single one right after the other.
So apparently the shooter was maybe on top of this building because, again, he was next to the tall building, which we can kind of see back to where we were earlier. Can't see it from this close up to back. So that is the tall building, right? That he was not on. So he's either on this building or if we go back. So he's not on this building. So yeah, he is. He is on this far left building, depending on how you're looking at it. So he is actually sitting right up here. Now, this doesn't actually look that hard to climb on. So for instance, if I were a psychopath, I would back my van up right here, ditch in behind these trees, bring a step ladder, climb up. I'm on the roof. I got access in less than 2 minutes, right? With pretty low visibility, because you're only exposed, if you back your car in here, go out the back, you're exposed for what? 10 feet here? And then you're basically invisible. Then you have access to the roof because for some reason, none of this area was secured or secured as well as it should have been. So again, if I was a murderous psychopath planning the murder of somebody, I would get as close to this little nook and cranny as I can, back my back door up to there, jump out the back, and then gain access to the roof through a stepladder or just shimmy my way up if I could. And there you go. You got roof access with only 150 yards to the former and probably next president of the U.S. And he's able to get several shots off.
So I'm seeing here from about, I don't know, a few minutes ago that Trump had requested an expanded Secret Service detail, and it was denied by Department of Homeland Security.
If you get into any of that, that stuff will make you mad because they also wanted to strip Trump of his Secret Service detail because of his convictions. So that was something that they had tried to do before this. So if you get into that sort of stuff, like that's a problem. Now, the one caveat to that is Trump is a very rich man and he's a very hated man. So if I were Trump, I would say Secret Service detail, that's great. Yeah, you guys are great. But I'm also bringing in my own professionals to supplement your capabilities, let's say.
Right. I'm just looking to see if there's anything new that popped up on Twitter in the last couple of minutes. I'm not seeing anything yet.
So we haven't gone over this one yet. I'll go ahead and share this. Now, again, this is conjecture. This is essentially, we'll preface this a little bit. This man warned the police and Secret Service that there was a suspicious man with a rifle. They ignored him. Do you need me to meet you for a second, Gary?
Hey, I'm gonna go. I gotta go get my other kid. Hang on
good.
just a second.
I can just put you backstage and then just come back up when you're ready. All right, so Gary's out. I'm in. All right. So apparently, this gentleman warned the police and the Secret Service before that there was somebody walking around with a rifle. Now, if there is at any point in time a man with a rifle walking around a current, former, future presidential rally, that should be a very big deal. And that should be responded to instantaneously, even just an allegation. Like if you call in something like that, that should be responded to very quickly. Apparently, that did not happen. So somebody actually had a comment up here before we get into this video. Tavino or Tavinho, Secret Service won't let you supplement. They insist being the only armed people. That's true even at Mar-a-Lago. So that's interesting that they had a reduced detail then for this. Cyanide says, a glazed look in the eye. Look carefully at the I really wish I weren't here right now button. Us living through historical events.
Now
this is
33.
Yeah, Demo Ranch shirt. I worry the media will jump on the bandwagon. Well, bandwagon, Freudian slip aside, that gun tubers radicalized this guy.
They already are trying to say that. They've been trying to say that for like.
Well, yeah.
What,
so they're going to
now?
whatever the worst interpretation is, they're going to take it. Right? They just are. Now, unfortunately, fortunately, I should say, the gun community is not anti-Trump by and large. There is a small sect of, let's say, like libertarian types that are anti-Trump. And there are some right-wing guys that are just like, he's not our guy, or they'll say like he's bad on guns, which he is bad on guns. He has been bad on guns in the past. But by and large, it's probably like what, 80%, 85% either pro or like ambivalent towards Trump. Damn it, Jeremy says, Barrett Trump is watching all this, and I think we are watching the making of the greatest revenge story in American history. Yeah, there's a lot of comparisons going on right now. Gary, do you want me to bring you back on?
Yeah.
You can. Yeah. Well, the kids are screaming, so I just popped you off for a second. You go take care of them, come right back. That's all.
Anyways, as I was saying, I used to watch Yankee Marshall back in 2016, and he's pretty left as far as gun tubers go, and even him, even like he was
traditional liberal, basically, right?
I mean,
like we're not talking about like a modern communist or socialist, right? I'm not familiar with the guy.
Let the gays protect their marijuana plants with guns type thing.
The little libertarian, I almost said a slur. Libertarian loser, let's say. Yeah, that type of guy. Okay.
So he was
$5.
He was pretty pro-Trump.
I'll hold you to that.
So
Barron, yeah, that's the good comparison is between Barron Trump and Paul Atreides. That's good. All right, so we're going to go ahead and watch this video now. So let me know if this is too loud or not loud enough, because my audio is going to be different from your guys' audio.
And watch and listen to the rally, right? We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea, but we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, and, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle.
A rifle.
We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? Like they didn't know what was going on. We're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. He's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2-3 minutes.
Okay, so apparently There are several minutes that go by. Trump is still on stage talking, and this guy has allegedly alerted a police officer that there is a dude pointing at him. There's a dude with a gun.
I saw a meme from Johnny B just like a few minutes ago. It was Secret Service sees a guy bear crawling with a rifle at a Trump rally. I'll allow it. He's a funny guy.
Look up something stupid, Mr. 3 hours ago, 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks. I don't know. I'm just looking at this real fast. I doubt that's real. I don't know about that, homie, but we'll go ahead and let this play. So apparently, he saw the guy crawling around, alerted police officers. Trump is still speaking at this point.
Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up
you
there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling
Yep.
the police and the Secret Service.
We were telling the police. We were pointing at them for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
Binoculars.
I wonder if he was causing a commotion, and so the Secret Service guys, when we're seeing them like perusing the area,
not paying attention to the actual threat,
they,
and they
were paying attention to that guy, right? Because they're like, oh, something's going on over there. I wonder what that weirdo's yelling about. While that, weirdo is like pointing at, hey, there's a shooter up on the building.
yeah, that's possible.
John Shepard says that he doesn't buy this guy's story. That's the thing. You do not have to buy the story. This is just another alleged piece of the alleged pie. So, but this is his story.
Did they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? I mean, this is not a big place.
Did you see? I mean, obviously, everyone, when the shooting started, everyone was very panicked. Did you see what happened to him at all?
Oh, yeah, they blew his head off.
Okay, sorry.
Secret Service blew his head off.
Okay, we just be careful because we don't quite know who's watching, but you're pretty sure they shot the guy.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
You saw that happen?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And did you see them go up to him afterwards, or?
They crawled up on the roof. They had their guns pointed at him, make sure he was dead. He was dead, and that was it. It was over.
So that would be in reference to these photos here, where
I don't think you can show those.
No. To these photos, because he says the police go over there, they point their guns at him, and they make sure that he's dead. So that story actually lines up. Now you got to remember, at this point, he would not have access to these photos, right? Because these came out 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes after the event had already happened. So talking about it right then probably wouldn't have had access to these photos. So that does actually lend some credence to his story, I would say.
I mean, I think he was definitely there. I think he probably heard that the guy got his head blown off.
Yeah, he might have only seen the back half of the event and not actually the first part. Let's see here, because I don't know if we really want to get into that. So we'll go ahead and we'll share this real fast. This is Donald Trump's response, or at least his team response on Truth Social.
Hey, before we go, can you pull up the initial CNN reporting? Because that is hilarious.
If I can, I think they might have changed their headlines. There were a lot of horrible headlines. One of them was like, Trump fell at rally and was taken off stage by Secret Service. Another one,
Trump rally interrupted by Secret Service.
There's like a incident at a Trump rally and he was injured. What's up, buddy?
The one that I saw was Trump rally interrupted by Secret Service. Popping noises heard at Trump rally.
Right. Yeah, it was all sorts of just absolute nonsense. I gotta listen. Here, let go, buddy. All right. So do you mind if Daddy talks for just a minute? Okay.
Yeah,
All
and
right, just chill.
I'm gonna use your headphones.
Well, here. Hey, can I get a kiss, please?
She wasn't hurt. It looks like.
All right, thank you, buddy. Go. Love you, buddy.
Bye.
Bye, bud. All right, Bruce says bye, guys. All right, so Donald. Bye, buddy. Love you. Donald J. Trump says, I want to thank the United States Secret Service and all law enforcement for their rapid response on the shooting that just took place in Butler, Pennsylvania. Most importantly, I want to extend my condolences to the family of the person at the rally who was killed. There was unfortunately one bystander just showed up to a Trump rally doing his thing, and he fortunately was the only real casualty of the event. It is incredible that such an act can take place in our country. Nothing is known at this time about the shooter, who is now dead. That's the only thing we know for sure. I was shot with a bullet that pierced the right upper part of my ear. I knew immediately that something was wrong in that I heard whizzing sounds, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin. Much bleeding took place, so I realized then what was happening. God bless America. So that is his response to it. Unfortunately, a really terrible image. You can see the blood in the stands from some point after Trump, where the actual bullets ended up from a completely innocent bystander who was apparently shot in the head from what one of the other gentlemen who was actually, this guy was an ER person who actually attempted to perform life-saving actions on the gentleman, and unfortunately he.
You don't perform CPR on
Well,
a gunshot to the head.
I know, but he was just doing his thing. But that's why he's covered in blood. He was not injured, but the person that he was tending to was. And I mean,
That's an old Red versus Blue joke.
Oh, okay.
That's like 2008 Red versus Blue.
Actually, trying to let me pull up this. So this image I can technically show. So here is our shooter. Wait, New York Times identified the shooter? Can you look that up? Well, no, I'll look it up.
My hands are full. Sorry.
Yeah, you got something more important. So New York Times. Thomas Herbert says time dilation 2 to 3 minutes is probably 10 to 15 seconds. That's also possible. It's possible he started a commotion and it felt like a lot longer, and then the shooting started. Report coming out new: the shooter identified as Thomas Matthew Crooks. So that is actually accurate. That guy, Thomas Matthew Crook. Yeah, you're right. The New York Post, not the New York Times. But let me actually, I'm just going to copy this article and put
Witnesses frantically tried to warn.
It started auto playing. I don't think you guys could hear that, but it started auto playing the.
Yeah, it did.
Oh, it did play. Oh, shoot. Apparently, this is the article. This is the gunman lying dead. As this is the interview by the BBC Warren Sharp that we just watched. Nope. What is that? Not the article that I just clicked on? So when I click on the link, it says Thomas ID. Where is that in the actual article? Getting some weird feedback from your headphones, I want to say.
I don't think so, because this is just monitoring.
Let me mute you. Yeah, it went away, so I think it is you. Getting some weird audio feedback through your stuff. FBI live presser right now. Where is the FBI presser at? Because we could actually do that live.
If you're hearing something, it's probably my air conditioners, because it's
weird
out here today.
Where's the actual presser going live at? Look at the chin on that thing, yeah. Well, the press conference. So, is there a press conference right now? Is that actually live?
Would it be on whitehouse.gov?
Let me see if I can pull this up. 5 minutes ago. Does anyone have a link to that? If you could email or not email that to me, but just DM it to me, I will absolutely pull that up, because if there is a live press conference, that would be awesome to actually.
So I was really hoping that we would talk about Lucas making a butthole out of himself this week.
Oh, that's not going to happen. Lucas is doing Lucas things.
Yeah, it's funny.
Uh-oh.
Dr. Dab, why are you smoking an entire gram
Buddy,
of,
look at this.
of oil? What is the matter with you, sir? What demons are you hiding from?
Buddy, look at this.
Also, what strain?
So apparently this is the guy. Thomas Matthew Crooks. 20-year-old Butler resident, according to New York Post.
Damn.
Discord. Oh, did you send it to me on Discord, Richard? That'd be awesome if you did. Absolutely. Okay, no. Sorry, I thought you sent me a link to that on. So that is apparently the gentleman. 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Brooks. I think he was really proud of that picture.
Diablo Fox, he called a bunch of gun tubers normalizing homosexual behavior because PSR makes funny videos, and Desktop, it goes shirtless in some of their music videos.
Desktop makes music videos?
Yeah, for their ads. They're quite funny.
Oh, I have never seen one of their ads then.
They were advertising for Arrowhead Tactical, which you still should not buy. But they made a song called Gun in My Pants.
Okay, so actually we do have the live broadcast here.
Okay. Yeah, until we have the confirmation of who the shooter is, and we'll release that as part of the investigative details later.
You said that you're doing extra resources, and one of the things that you said was bomb technician. So is this standard procedure, or do you have reasons to believe that there are bombs somewhere in Butler County? I just want to keep walk through that.
It's primarily standard procedure of any suspicious packages. In this case, there was identification of suspicious packages around where the shooter was. And so we deployed, in an abundance of caution, bomb assets to make sure that those were cleared for investigators to move safely in the area. Still an active crime scene, so I'm not going to say that the scene is 100% clear at this time.
I'll put $10 on. We never hear anything
The
about
Secret Service
bombs
wasn't
ever
available
again.
for the press conference at this time.
I understand the packages that you're talking about. You're talking about packages, but just suspicious packages like what?
Really anything. I don't have specifics on what they were looking at, but you know, there's people in the crowd will leave bags as they're fleeing the scene like this. So any suspicious packages we have to treat as it may be an explosive device.
Let me pause real fast. Is this too quiet for you guys?
Uh,
Gary, I have to mute you. Your audio, something is feedbacking like really bad. It's just like a low whining hiss like the entire time with like cracks. It sounds like there's a radio going off.
Oh, I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah, because it sounds like there's like a radio like beeping fuzzy interference type thing. Is the yeah, it's the audio static. Yeah, that's what they're saying. You guys can hear this though, right? Is this too quiet? Because it's maxed. It's maxed out as of right now.
Is that any better? Just move my cord around.
No, I'm still hearing it.
Huh.
I wonder. It sounds like maybe something's not plugged in properly, but if you don't mind, I could just mute and then unmute as needed, if that works.
Yeah, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to be on live.
It's also fine if you need to hop off. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be up. Okay, good. The audio for the video is good. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be on here either, but let's go ahead and keep this rolling then.
So it was immediate, and we're still trying to figure that out. So we'll wait till we have more definitive information regarding that investigatively.
What about the person in the crowd? Do you have any information about how they were killed?
My understanding was it was from the shooter, but again, those will be details that are released later.
Do you search homes or apartments as a part of your method of identifying the individual?
So if that's where the leads take us, absolutely.
Was Donald Trump
I'm muted.
hit with a bullet, or was it potentially something else that could
I don't have that specific information as far as the injuries to the former president.
I understand you're not releasing the suspect's identification right now, but as you know, is this person known to you guys? Is he somebody that you guys have been looking at due to threats he's possibly made online, et cetera?
So I don't know if you guys heard that, but it said that the shooter was known to these guys ahead of time. Like every shooter that we've ever heard, he was known to law enforcement ahead of time. Like every single time without fail.
Oh, he did the thing.
He said the line. He said the thing. He said the thing. Absolutely unbelievable. We'll let that.
Again, the information that we currently have, we're looking at that obviously very intently. And as we know that information, we'll release that as well. So we'll need to plan another time for a follow-up press conference. We're looking at all investigative leads and all everything from, and that's why we asked the public, because I'm sure there'll be cell phone video, there'll be all kinds of information that we'll use to fully flesh out exactly what happened here.
I know you're saying you can't say what type of gun it is, but do you know how many shots were fired?
I don't.
And
I don't have that information as far as that. That'll come out in the investigation as well.
Is there an identification tonight on the other victims?
As far as the civilians,
civilians that were injured and killed.
Yeah.
So we do have identification on those. We're not prepared to release it at this time. We have notified a number of family members, but.
So just a word on that. I do not need the names of the victims. That's a private family matter for them to deal with. And that's absolutely awful. So, but yeah, of course, the shooter was known. They know his name. They know his address. They know what gun he used. And all of that is being held for some reason. William Reeves for $5. Thank you very much, sir. Crooks get cooked, LMAO. Good stream, by the way. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for showing up.
Hey, real quick, before we say anything else, I have it on good authority that Gunslaps is doing a Trump pack because of this, because of course he is. Use code FT10 at checkout for 10% off, and it lets him know that you came from us, and it means that he will continue to pay us. Also, John forgot to do the ad last time, so I'm doing it now.
Did you just turn the shooting of a future and former president into a chance to shill for stickers? Did you just do that on my stream?
I absolutely did that. I'm here to get paid, sir.
That's funny. Nah, I don't mind. Okay, let's let this roll. Sorry.
They have not had an opportunity to notify extended family and things. I would confirm for you that we did have one individual killed. And I know I heard somebody say about 2 victims. There were 3 in total besides the former president. So 2 critically wounded, 1 killed.
At this point, do you know if they were sitting near each other and where in relation to the former president?
I don't have their exact seating by individual. Again, that'll all be part of the investigation, but their shots were scattered somewhat, and so they weren't just into one particular location.
So the deflection here was insane. Whatever this retard was doing, like he was shooting all over the place. You're muted, by the way, if you were talking, but yeah, so there was a huge cone of fire around Trump, and he's only 150 yards away.
Okay.
And this guy is prone. So absolute retard moment.
Yeah.
4chan is probably wrong. I'm pretty sure you were right. You were right the first time.
Yes,
The shooter and one fatality.
the shooter plus one fatality.
Oh, thank you.
So there was one victim of the shooter who was killed, and then the shooter was killed.
And then 2.
Yes, ma'am.
Witnesses say they saw a semi-automatic rifle used by the shooter. Can you share any more details about that?
I've heard those reports as well, and again, we do have a good idea of what the weapon was, but again, that's all part of the ongoing investigation. And I'm not trying to be cagey about that. When the SAC.
Yeah, Richard, you did hear that.
I heard from
multiple wounded, 2 in critical condition, 1 real human dead, and then the shooter is dead as well. So,
yeah, I saw somebody like, he's got possibly the highest profile person on the planet in his sights. That's got to be like super jitters.
Oh,
unless he's on drugs.
He's a kid. He's 20 years old, and he might be on a cacophony of different drugs, antidepressant drugs, recreational drugs. He might be on everything under the sun. Plus, it didn't look like he was particularly fit in general, and he probably wasn't very mentally fit either. So I'm sure this was the most stressful point in his very short life.
Yeah, I'm saying that he definitely he was either extremely stressed or extremely intoxicated, or both.
Yeah.
Talked about the need to be very methodical and to be cautious with that scene. We are doing just that. We don't want anybody else getting hurt.
Yeah, so you were right. It is that it apparently has been reported as this guy. I'll show that one there again. That people know, allegedly, apparently, possibly, maybe theoretically, this is not yet confirmed that this is apparently the person in question. And shirt. So
he's looks right. He's in the right place.
There are some concerns that we'll be able to talk more about later on about just what those concerns are and continue to be.
Why don't you talk to the shooter's family yet?
That's all.
So just to pause this real fast. So this guy that you see in the white shirt here, he is the gentleman also giving the interview later on about trying to save that other guy's life, because if he turns, I think he's either going to turn in a second. You're going to see all the blood on the left side of his or right side of his shirt.
Part of the investigation.
Hey, do we know what the deal is with that dude in the red shirt behind him that's prone out on the bleacher?
It's going to show
certainly a concern, and we're monitoring that whole situation. I mentioned that we're bringing a lot of assets to bear, and so like the FBI utilizing their analysts, we also have the Pennsylvania Criminal Intelligence Center. We will utilize the resources of our intelligence division and the Criminal Intelligence Center to be able to monitor for concerns about any threats, regardless of the side of the issue or the political spectrum. We want to make sure that we try and avoid any further violence.
So no, nothing specific so far?
No, sir.
Without identifying them by name, can you say anything about the other folks who were injured or killed? Were they adults, men, male, female, anything at all?
They were adults, and they're male.
All 3.
Yes.
How difficult of the day is this for your department, though, or all your departments?
A word on antidepressants. All right. It is nearly, this is not a conspiracy theory, nearly 100% of all mass shooters are on an antidepressant. The vast majority of those come from a single company. Do with that information what you will.
This is not to say that if you need antidepressants, don't take them.
What are those conversations like, and how do you kind of get through that?
We have trained investigators, and we're partnered hand in hand with the FBI again because we've got some federal violations, some state violations, and so our investigators are going out and plotting with a large team of investigators. They're going out, dividing these interviews, and trying to conduct them as quickly as possible. And then there will be follow-ups. You know, with the FBI asking for people to call in tips, I have no doubt that we will receive a lot of additional information that will also require follow-up. But again, we're working very well together, and it's only a short matter of time until we get through all of those interviews.
From your experience, how close a call was it for President Trump?
There were no police hit with bullets.
From your experience, how close a call was it for President Trump?
I'm not going to speculate or comment on that.
Have any of you talked to the president? Did any of you have any kind of reaction?
No.
Which law enforcement agencies were tasked with securing this particular rally outside of the United States Secret Service?
Well, Secret Service always has the lead on securing something like this, but then they work very closely. And I hate to use the word routine, but it is a fairly routine matter for all of our agencies to work jointly with the Secret Service. And it really depends on the venue, on what information is out there, what number of resources are devoted to it. And we work with them to provide whatever is requested by the Secret Service, but they're the lead in that security.
Was there anything about this venue that made it particularly difficult to secure?
You know, I would defer to the Secret Service to answer that. They would have done the initial assessment.
Was the rooftop part of what was being secured? Was the rooftop, given its proximity to the event, part of that process?
It's my understanding that was outside of the perimeter.
150 yards away with direct access, down looking, the former president was outside.
They're saying that was outside their security perimeter? Sorry, they're saying that was outside their security perimeter?
They are saying that at this, right, president speaking here, shooter here, crawling up from in here is what the guy says, right? And apparently I didn't notice it, but apparently there's an egress point from the taller building to the shorter building. So it's possible he went in, came out the taller building onto the short one, and then crawled over these two roofs, right, to get to the one close to Trump. Because there was an actual egress point from the inside. And yeah, about less than 150 yards away was not in their purview, apparently.
So they've learned nothing over the past 200 and some odd years of attempted assassinations and assassinations.
It's a difficult thing, right? Because guns are not super regulated, which is awesome, right? We would prefer less regulation. And in America, you're trying to draw in the biggest crowd, so you have these huge venues, and so this is why American presidents shot at sometimes, or get their stages stormed at, right? Because that's happened to Trump now 2 or 3 times. So this is not necessarily these people should do security better. Absolutely, 100% agreed. But there are things that make it a little bit more difficult.
You just need to get like 2 or 3 retards that like, you know, compulsively watch things like the Houston shooting and.
Not that I'm aware of.
If Trump had been the nominee already, would he have had a...
He was asking about extra security that was denied, so I wanted to hear his response on that.
additional security?
Oh, sorry. Go back.
There again, Secret Service has the lead, and I'm not going to comment or speculate on what may or may not be provided at any given point, depending on their status as a candidate. What I will tell you is that in my experience, the Secret Service does an excellent job of maintaining security on protectees. They're very cautious. They don't hesitate to ask for resources. And candidly, we don't hesitate to supply those resources.
Somebody should have said, hey, can you cover that big building that we don't have direct eyes on?
Can you elaborate and be more specific about what you really like to see from
personal accounts?
I think the videos and photos would be very helpful. And I think that once the shooter is identified, anyone that has specific information on that shooter, that would be very helpful as well to help us assess motive. And again, as I mentioned earlier, we are absolutely not taking for granted that this was a lone wolf attack. And so we would be looking for any additional information that might point us toward anybody else that may have had a hand in this.
Sir, at this point, what is the main focus of the investigation? What's the most important thing for you right now, a few hours?
Well, there's not any one single focus. I mean, certainly the immediate focus was life safety, getting the former president out of there and to care, getting care to the other victims and trying to secure the scene as quickly as possible. It shifted then from a life safety priority to then an investigative priority. And so I guess if I had to point to where we are right now, the single greatest priority would be to identifying a motive and whether there was anyone else involved.
We're just beginning the political season. Are you guys concerned with all of these rallies that happen and how they're set up? Is this going to change maybe the venues?
Again, I would refer you to the Secret Service in terms of what they work out with the campaigns. We will continue to supply resources, as I'm sure the FBI.
Lance, can you confirm in chat real fast? Is that the picture of the rifle used? You're kidding me. Are you saying that this is no? Lance just sent me something on Instagram. I'll quote here. You're not telling me that this is the rifle that was used, are you? Is that what you're saying?
Oh my god.
Okay, you think it's a meme? Okay. No. Okay. So Lance thinks that's a meme. You sent me that on Discord, so I didn't know if you thought that was serious. So hopefully that's just a joke. This thing is awful. Hopefully that's a joke. Probably a meme. Ignore that.
Rally from a law enforcement perspective, when you announce an event like this, all that time in advance of a week out, does it give people more time to plan something like this?
I suppose, but there's a balance. I would think that any of the campaigns on either side try to weigh. I mean, the point of them announcing it, I suspect, is because they want the crowd. And so it's not up to us in law enforcement to tell them when they should announce or how they should announce or how they should conduct it. We offer our best advice. Again, working hand in hand with the Secret Service, offer our best advice of how best to secure and protect that venue.
Sir, considering how
their advice was not good. Hey, Stealth, I'm looking on Twitter and I don't see anything new, any new footage of the shooter getting shot. I do actually see, though, a new, can I just click on this? I do actually see a new angle of the shot. That is incredibly close. But I'll say, homie.
how many people are there, and you have in there, and you have somebody at an elevated position with potentially a high-powered rifle.
Hey, Stealth, could you send me the link on either Instagram or Twitter, and you can, yeah, over there I can pull it up.
How lucky is it that you're only talking about a couple victims, as sad and tragic as that is?
Well, we're certainly grateful that we don't have even more victims. And again, in terms of how this could have.
You're already way faster than I am. Jeez. Did you, where is it? Why can't I see it? Hello? Here it is. Oh my gosh.
Hey, John, if you go on Twitter, there is a video, it looks like, of...
Bro, you gotta just send me, if you can, just send me the... So apparently this is the homeboy. All right, so we're just
I'm looking at that video right now.
We're gonna let this play from the beginning.
I hope he's turning this way. Be careful, guys.
Okay, so we do hear
There's always that one woman.
one suppressed 308 shot while he's lying in this position, canoes him. He's dead. There is a single 308 shot suppressed. Now, the angle he's at the backside of the apex. Well, they're probably freaking out. But anyways, backside of the apex. 308 shooter has to come from up above, which means that it was the counter sniper team, right? Because that barn is taller than this smaller building. So if we go back to here, wherever I have that pulled up. So this building, shoot, I do the same thing every time. So shooter is on this building on the other side. Counter sniper team is sitting up on these big boys, on the third one over. So not this one that's closest to us, but on the third one over that one. That building.
You don't have the map.
Sorry, was that? Oh, shoot.
I don't have the map pulled up.
So dumb. Sorry, guys. You would think I'd be professional.
It's just amateur hour over here.
It is absolutely amateur hour. So that video is coming from this building here. Now, a little bit further down on this building. So this building is pretty short. He's shooting at the backside of the apex, right over there to Trump. So he's basically right up here somewhere. That video actually might have been filmed from this side of the parking lot, or possibly the other as well. So that's where that video is filmed from. And again, service guys, they're sitting up on the third barn over here. So they're sitting up on that barn right there, which now if we go back to here, I'm going to drop that down a little bit. So this is TMZ. So that footage is blurred because I'll show you the blurred video image of what the guy looks like. But Homeboy is not in good shape. Homeboy is done. Right? He's done.
You can walk it off.
He's done. He's done. I could show you the uncensored image, but they might take down the stream for that. But
I mean, they're probably already going to copyright strike the stream.
That's depending on the news agency. Depending on the news agency, it's possible. So it does look, if we the best shot we got, that looks like a flat top AR with either iron sights or no sights.
What picture are you looking at?
That top picture right there, that is either iron sights or no sights. Also black hair. So maybe it is not that guy. Maybe it is not that guy.
Who said DDM4 V6 with no sights?
It looks like an AR, bro. It's so over. Sent you another photo. Okay. Yeah, so that's the same image we're looking at. It's the same thing. So but he could have also dyed his hair because he had brown hair in one of the images as well. So yeah, it's definitely an AR. Think it had an optic. I sent you a pic on Instagram. All right, let me pull that up. Thank you guys for actually showing this stuff. This really helps because again, I'm just one retard on a live stream. Oh dear, that man is yeah. All right.
Okay, enhance.
How did the rifle get so far away from him? That rifle's like 10 feet.
It would, if this picture was taken after they've gotten somebody up there, they would have moved it away from him.
But they would have still been around the body, wouldn't they? Trevor, I know that Risky has an uncensored picture. I have an uncensored picture like right up here. I just can't show it to the stream because otherwise the stream will be censored, age gated, or just straight up taken down. They kicked it away. If they kicked it away, you think somebody would have control of it. Like there would be somebody not necessarily holding it, obviously, because you don't want to contaminate it, but there would be somebody near it.
Maybe he rolled away.
If he post or pre-shoot, because if he rolled away while he was cut open,
like
he went
for the ballistic haircut, and then he rolled away.
No, but you can see the blood splatter here on the left side of his body. That's blood splatter. So if he rolled, there would be a thick
And he
trail.
would be
of
rolling
blood.
the other way. He wouldn't be rolling. He wouldn't be rolling
So
sideways.
how did there, unless somebody, this is weird. So just the framing of this image. I don't know if anything fishy is going on. The framing of the image is weird because you have a gun 10 feet away. You have the guy laying there. He's dead. He was dead basically instantaneously. And then there's no cops around him. Why are there no cops around him? Yeah,
Well, they would
methodically-
also have to get through the crowd. Law enforcement would also have to get through the crowd.
Well, yeah, but we saw these guys are up here, like they're up here, right?
Those guys
So
are up there like immediately.
there's 4 of them. So if somebody picked up the rifle and moved it or kicked it away, they would be there, right? Am I crazy? They would still
Richard's
be
saying that rifle was moved after they confirmed he's out.
That's possible,
So-
but nobody is up there monitoring the scene. Like somebody would still control the scene, right? 'Cause there ain't nobody here. Well, maybe there's some people like 10 feet away that we just can't see on the periphery. That's possible.
Maybe. Well, you got to think like, okay, dude's a manlet, so he's probably like what 5'6". So that's like 25 feet or so of roof in each direction.
It's just strange that there's not a single cop in this image. That's all. Because you would think somebody would just, because like there's still civilians running around at this point, so you want to make sure nobody gets up there for any reason, right?
Well, maybe that's what they did. Maybe they secured the building, and because he's on the roof, they're like, why bother? He's on the roof.
Oh, we got some 5'6"ers in the
Look-
chat.
Look,
5'6".
if I have to deal with being called a manlet at 5'9", you can take it at 5'6".
Okay, yeah. So guys, I'll let you in on a little secret. Old John over here is only 5'7". Okay, so Helix 92 is saying that they did a bomb search. So staying away from the body, they don't want to be crowded around it. Yeah, Isaiah says 5'7" gang. I'm also 5'7". Yeah, the Thomas Matthew Crooks thing is wrong too. If somebody has a manlet at 5'8", the Ewoks have arrived. Damn, now we're just getting roasted. 5'8", king of the manlets. 5'5". Sorry, Jesse, it's over. It's over, bud.
It is over for you.
Interesting. So Richard is saying the SOP is to eliminate active threat, which he's dead. Remove firearm, which they kind of did. Secure the scene, then evacuate to allow EOD to sweep. 6'3" gang, jealous. 5'7", 5'9". Ooh, 6'3" again. Jeez. 5'7", 5'8". That's right. Miles, me and you. 5'7" for Trash Panda. 5'8.5". Okay, now you're stretching. Simple 6'1". Unbelievable. All
Dude,
right.
my
So
dad is 5'4". I have literally nothing going for me.
Ad Shalad. Thank you, Chad. You just sent me this over on Discord as well. I think this is the exact same thing. So let's go back to that video real fast. Copy. Can I just copy? I can't copy. Please let me copy. It would help. It would help. I was less retarded. Oh my gosh. Kill me. All right. Let me see real fast. How do I do this? So I can show this window, can't I? I can show this window. So let's stop screen. Let's present share screen, window, entire screen. So I'm going to share my left screen. So this is my entire screen, what's going on here. So maybe if I make it really small. Can you guys see? He's yeah, let me pull this over here. He is in fact the big dead. You guys see that? Yeah, he's the big dead. He's the big dead. So that's that guy. Yep, exactly. Professional stream. If you wanted to see the uncensored image, there he is. He is V33 says, I love that we're getting more information from two autists on a live stream than we get from the Shot Tier News. Thank you, gents. Well, we're just reporting whatever we can find and going over some of the other stuff that we think is
Where did I see it? Your wife is in here roasting you.
My wife? What? Get out. My wife's not in here. Where is she?
Yeah, she definitely. I just saw her.
Why don't I see it? Unbelievable.
Promise Campbell. Take a shot every time John says retarded.
That's my favorite word. Listen, the list of appropriate or allowable slurs gets smaller every day, so I just got to take the ones that I can get. Are you kidding me, dude? Give me the. I've literally been struggling for the last. Oh my. Can I just... Okay, so I can do this. I've been struggling for like the last 5 minutes to get this up. So I'm actually... Oh, shoot. That's not even what I want. Darn it. Screen, Trump rally gunman. There we go. Okay. This is direct. Oh, dear. Direct from TMZ.
I just want you all to realize that this is a professional doing the stream. I'm just tagging along here at this point.
So, of course. Darn it. Go back. And we're back, sir. So it does look like he was using some sort of optic. Oh, I just pulled up that. Where did you guys send me that at? I have to look somewhere else for it. But let's go ahead and pull back up that live stream I just took down. So let's go back to. I don't think they're going to bring us any more news.
What's up, buddy?
We'll see what they have. Jmar, if you're looking for the actual picture, just if you send me a DM, I can send it directly to you. Want that for some reason? Okay, so they are. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So they're actually saying this is different. Let me pull this back up because they're saying this is different. They're saying this is different. Look at this. Look at this. They're saying it's from a different
a spectator,
building.
somebody who is attending the rally.
Wait a second. Go back.
Okay, so they're saying it's from the second building, not the first building.
I was wrong. Yes, it is the taller building. It is the taller building. So I got that wrong. That's me. Fact check false on me. He was on the taller building. For sure.
And they're saying 148 yards. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, because he was on the taller building, so he was slightly further away. So if we go back to here for a second, he was actually at the top of this building here. So that is 148 meters, just over 100. That's what they're saying. Go back to here.
A male in his 20s is dead.
So he was on the tallest building in the area.
He was,
and for some reason, Secret Service wasn't there.
Who is attending the rally. That person killed, as were two others. We understand that President Biden has spoken with Mr.
Two others are now dead. So that's the gentleman in the crowds plus one who was in critical condition. Yeah, he had even higher ground. No. That was the cops up there took a shooter of the guy for identification, I imagine, and the photo just got leaked. Photo of him on the roof shows trees, though. Well, you got to remember the Google images that I'm pulling up are not current.
For Trump, we should note that President Biden, even during that very late night news conference, returned back to the White House from where he'd been staying in Delaware. You saw him getting off of Air Force One earlier this evening. President Biden addressing the nation and condemning the violence. I want to go to Dasha Burns, who is reporting from the rally when this happened. She is there still in Butler, just outside the site, Dasha, as things have moved obviously extremely quickly tonight.
extremely quickly, Hallie, and we are still waiting to confirm exactly the whereabouts of the former president. I do have a little bit of new reporting, though, from myself and our colleague, Olympia Saunier. A campaign source pointed us to a GoFundMe page that was authorized by former President Trump, organized by Meredith O'Rourke, the campaign's finance director. The description on the page says that President Donald Trump has authorized this account as a place for donations to the supporters and families wounded or killed in today's brutal and horrific assassination attempts. All donations will be directed to these proud Americans as they grieve and recover. May God bless and unite our nation. So that FundMe page authorized by the former president. Of course, we do know that one person at the rally was killed. Earlier today, Hallie, as I was in this parking lot talking to witnesses, sharing, exchanging our own stories, I met a gentleman who was right next to that man who was killed at the rally. He told me about that experience. Take a listen to this interview we did earlier. That is where I ran into a man named Joseph, and I want to introduce him to you now. And as we just learned, Joseph, you weren't listening to the program here, but Lester Holt, NBC News, just reporting that one of the attendees has deceased, has died from injuries as a result of the shooting. Joseph,
Pause that real fast. I just got sent another. And there is a picture of the person. Apparently, we don't really see the optic being used, if one at all. But that looks like the gun is close to him. So that picture that we showed with the gun far away had to have been, yeah, a police officer picked up the gun and moved. Interesting.
you told me off camera that you may have witnessed this, and I'm so sorry to be talking to you in this tragic moment, but can you describe what it is that you saw?
I was attending the rally. I was in the set of bleachers, the very far left of the podium where Donald Trump was President Trump was speaking. I was there with friends. I heard several gunshots. The man beside me suffered a gunshot wound to the head, was instantly killed, fell to the bottom of the bleachers. Another woman looked like she got hit in the forearm or hand. And then at that point in time, it was rather chaotic at that point because half the people were looking because they thought it was fireworks. I knew it was gunshots right away. My friend, hit the deck. I was kind of looking around just trying to see where the shots were coming from. It seemed to me like the shots were coming from behind the bleachers. It seemed to me the man got hit in the head from behind. He was killed instantly as far as I could tell. And at that point, state police and a SWAT team, started evacuating the bleachers, and then I helped carry the man out of the bleachers that was behind.
And how, as reporters, so many of us have unfortunately covered shootings in the past, but typically we are running to the scene in the aftermath, talking to people in the aftermath. Rarely, certainly never for me, are we present in that moment. And I'll tell you, our team was there. We heard those popping sounds that we initially, like so many others we talked to today, thought might have been fireworks. We took cover. We experienced with that crowd going from this is a typical rally.
To address that argument, Fox, I know that you're not saying this, but the good guys with the guns literally took him out within seconds. So that is the simple response.
I'm just looking to see if Matt has made a response yet. So far, all I'm seeing is just what the hell.
Just don't say anything until more information comes out, because we have no idea which way this guy leans politically, the shooter that is. And we can assume, but we don't know.
Former president is just starting to speak. We're preparing to see what kind of news he might make, to suddenly having to take cover, confusion, chaos, not quite understanding what's going on, to then hearing the cheers from the crowd as the former president in that now iconic image raised his fist up into the air. We got back up in front of a camera, started to report, and then everyone was evacuated by security at the rally and looked to one another to try to come to terms with and reckon with what just transpired, as now we are getting more of the details of what exactly we witnessed, Hallie.
Tasha Burns, thank you very much. I want to go now to Garrett Hake because, Garrett, in just the last couple of seconds, we have heard now in an online post from one of the close aides who frequently travels with former President.
Vorp and Anvil says early social media scraping shows the guy might have been a furry. Make of that what you will. I would need a source to that, but that would be.
I wouldn't doubt it. He looks like the type.
So Lance is working on this. He's doing all the work behind the scenes. And he says, so far, what I'm digging up is all of the shooter's information is false. So right now, the only thing that I would really go off of is not the pictures of the alleged person, but just the pictures and videos of the actual event itself. Dude, yeah, if you were Parable says you got to give it to the script writers right down to the iconic photos. If I were writing this, it would be somewhat similar. Like you'd have to get the guy heroically standing up afterwards, making the good photos, and yeah.
I mean, say what you want. Trump is a showman.
Oh, he's always
exactly what he was doing.
Trump posting a video that appears to be perhaps from tonight, we believe. She says, strong and resilient. He will never stop fighting for America. And if it is the case that this is from tonight, it would be the first glimpse of the former president since the moments that we've been showing repeatedly here on this NBC News special report, that attempted assassination.
The shooter's FB Facebook account got nuked within an hour of the event. By who? As dead.
No, that happens a lot, to be fair.
Unless
you remember the one in New York?
No, you have to refresh me on that.
You remember the guy that got a rifle and shot up a grocery store in upstate New York?
Vaguely.
He was active on Reddit, active on a lot of the r/AR15 and r/tactical gear Reddit boards, and his profile was both nuked and like gone over with a fine-tooth comb within like 2 hours. So
Richard says Secret Service didn't occupy the highest and largest rooftop in a 170-yard radius of the leading candidate during the last speech before the RNC event to start tomorrow. That's insane. Well, Vorp, if you have anything that was actually taken from that would be very, very relevant. Lucas says, what caliber we think for the shooter? It was almost assuredly 5.56 or 2.2.
Nick Yak, I'm not being an asshole. That was in fact real bullets. Real people died. I'm saying that Trump is a showman more than anything, and
no, he has
put on his even in immense pain. He went into showman mode.
Yeah, absolutely
made a good thing out of it. Or I mean, in his mind, he made a good thing out of it. I don't think he knew that anybody died behind him.
Yeah, no, that's probably not what he was thinking at that point in time. I have no idea what the guy was thinking at that point in time, but he has an incredible resilience and wherewithal at almost all times, even in his mid to late 70s, to do things like that, right? Most people like me and in their 20s, we'd still be on the ground like, what are we doing? Where am I? What's going on? But Trump is out there like riling up the crowd. It is insane that a Trump crowd, after getting shot at many times, starts cheering for Trump, like standing on their feet, standing ovation after a shooting when Trump puts his fist in the air. Absolutely insane. Yeah, I'm sorry. Gary's mic is feeding back a little bit. We'll have to fix that for later, but this is an impromptu stream. Good night, Lance. Sorry we were not able to play Halo tonight. We'll probably have to work on that tomorrow. Sam Hyde, that's very true, but I don't think there's going to be much new information coming out now. So we're 2 hours in, which is longer than I was originally going to go. We've gone over just about everything that we have. And
yeah,
plenty
this was only supposed to be about 10 minutes. So
But we are going to go ahead and end it here. Thank you to everyone in the live chat. And we're going to watch this later. And I'm sure there's going to actually, if you are watching this later and you make it this far into the video somehow, please comment the updates to this down below. I really appreciate it. So thank you, gentlemen, and you guys all have a wonderful night.